Hello and welcome, I'm Tim and this is TimBatSea, and this is a follow-up video, kind of more of a clarification of what I was trying to get across on my previous video, why there weren't any tugs on the motor vessel Dolly as it passed under the Key Bridge in Baltimore. So first of all, I think that I should say that I tried to make it very clear that I only wanted to discuss things that were in my realm of what I know. So everybody wants to start talking about conspiracies and the computers being hacked and political things and all that, and man, that's way beyond my pay grade. You smart guys can figure all that stuff out. But I could just talk as far as tugboats go, and that also goes for, there's a million comments saying, oh, the bridge should have had, why didn't the bridge have fendering or abutments or anything like this to stop it? You know, I have some thoughts on that. Unfortunately, they're only just like you. They're only thoughts. What do I know? I'm not a structural engineer. I can tell you that, I mean, you just have to watch the last video I did of us going through the canal and see that, that depending on when the bridges were built, there aren't a lot of things in place to stop things from happening. Right or wrong, I don't know. I'm not the one to say. But the one thing that amazes me is that after making the video, so few people seem to understand what I was saying. And that's that we can talk about cost all we want, but the added cost of putting tugs on a ship like this, it doesn't really matter. You get a 100,000 ton ship moving at 7 some knots, and no tugboat, no assist boat is going to be able to stop that. And some of you guys say, well, maybe it's going too fast, we should slow it down. Well, a lot of these ships, remember, they don't have a reduction gear, they don't have any sort of transmission. And so when they're clutch ahead, their slowest speed is usually right around there. So they were probably going as slowly as they could. In fact, had they gone faster, had the engine gone faster, I don't know this, I am only suspecting, but there's a chance that they might not have had a failure. I don't know, I shouldn't have even said that. But what I am saying is that to put this in context of something that we can all kind of think about, we all know how big an aircraft carrier is. And displacement wise and how big this thing is, it's about the size of an aircraft carrier. And people will tell me, oh, I see in the comments this, I see aircraft carriers, I see ships being moved all the time, tugs can move these ships. Yes, we can move these ships. What happens is we move these ships when they're at a standstill or very slow. And when we are moving, like I tried to explain what happens when we go into New Haven, those are only there for braking the ship so that the ship can keep working, you know, ahead and have more water going on the rudder so that they still continue to have steerage as they're going. They're not really there to push it one way or the other. Then the only other thing that, you know, so cost, everyone wants to say, oh, they were cheap, they didn't spend the money on the tugs, and now we have to spend billions for all of this. What I meant to say when I was talking about that things would get expensive is that it's very likely that in the future they will mandate tugs. Even though I don't think, and anybody that I've talked, all the people that I've talked to that run tugs for a living agree with me. There isn't a tug on the planet that was going to stop what happened. That happened, and that's too sad. Now there is one possibility. There's one thing, and that's that if you didn't have tugs on the bow, but you had a stern tug, a great big tractor, an enormous tractor, once again, adds a lot to the money and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you could slow he could slow that thing down. But once again, everyone I've talked to and that agree with me that, you know, in the industry think that all it would have done is slow it down, but the damage probably still would have happened and the bridge probably would have come down. If it didn't come down, it would be totally messed up anyway. And so I just need to tell you guys, tugs are not the answer. And if you think, you know, I had somebody saying that I was towing the line for the shipping industry. Well, be sure to tell the shipping industry that for me. I'd really appreciate that. Because quite frankly, if they put tugs on everything, it's going to be great. We don't have the tugs or the personnel. In fact, we don't even have the personnel to run tugs today. So, you know, with the tugs that we have. There's another thing that I think everyone's forgetting when they say, we got to do this, we got to do that. Had the dolly gotten through the bridge there, had it had tugs like you guys say in the comments, it should have had tugs and all this. Had it done that, it still has to get under the Bay Bridge. Are you going to have the tugs go all the way to the Bay Bridge? Some people have even suggested taking tugs all the way to sea. That would tie up 2 tugs for almost 2 days. They'd have to go all the way out to sea and then come all the way back to get the next one. Do you know, we would have to build so many tugs and have so many people to do that. And once again, I don't think it matters, because I don't think that would have stopped what happened. So what else have I had? A whole bunch of things I wanted to talk to you guys about, but it's you know, I have a history of commenting and you know, answering all the comments. This video has gotten crazy numbers. As you see that I've responded to, you know, I've seen over 1,000 of your comments, and I'm trying to answer them, but a lot of them, people just don't take the time to read through the other comments, and because there's 1,000 of them, I don't blame you at all. I get it, I get that. But just to let you know, generally, when you subscribe to our channel and you comment, I usually try to give you a more in-depth answer. So if you get kind of a boilerplate answer back, I'm just kind of letting you know, hey man, I hear you. Doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with you or disagree with you. I've seen your comment, and thank you very much. And look, we all have opinions. That's why it was really important for me to only talk about the area that I know about. And I think a lot of, you know, there's talk about, oh, we should do this and we should put these abutments in place, and you know, newer bridges have shoaling where the ship will actually go aground before it makes contact with the bridge. Hey, all those things are great, but you know what? I'm not an engineer. I don't know those things, and I don't think a lot of you are either. So everyone has an opinion, and everyone is so eager to share it with me, and I thank you. It's great for me. But I got to tell you, there's a difference between somebody, you know, the one thing that I keep seeing over and over again is my uncle was a tugboat captain. My grandfather was a tugboat captain. My father was a tugboat captain. You know, it's amazing. I don't know what happens to the rest of the crew, but I've never met or heard or had one commenter ever say, my father was a deckhand, or my father was an engineer, or my father was a mate. Everybody's a tugboat captain, so that's amazing. Now, here's the other thing. If your father, your grandpappy was a tugboat captain, that's great. I think that's wonderful. But he probably wasn't moving 100,000-ton ships. Those are kind of a new thing for us, unless you've been pushing aircraft carriers, and you see they don't even move an aircraft carrier unless they have like 4 tugs on it. So, and it's crazy, and they only do it from a standstill. So, one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, you know, fans of the channel will know that I'm a big fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson. And when we think of Einstein's law of E equals mc squared, a lot of people just kind of put that off and, oh, that's about, you know, subatomic particles or whatever. No, that's about everything. That's energy equals mass times speed squared. So the speed of a ship like that going 3 knots and a tugboat trying to work on it versus one going 7 knots, you have to square that. So it's incredible. Then just to give you one more thing, most tugboats run around 12 knots is like that's going downhill. Very few tugboats even make that kind of speed. Most of them do around 10 knots wide open. So you might have a 5,500 horse tugboat, and if it's going to be alongside a ship that's doing 7.5, or before that it was doing 8 knots, it's going to be using most of its energy trying to keep up with the ship. and then the lateral force of trying to move it it's not going to happen. I mean, it'll be there, but you're not going to move a 100,000-ton ship very much. And you know, one thing that I've been pushing Sal's channel because he explains this so well. But the video that we've all seen is at an angle, and it produces an optical illusion, making it look like the ship turned, you know, 60 degrees into the, you know, that it, like somebody grabbed the wheel and spun it over and ran right into the abutment, or you know, the bridge. And if you look at the AIS data, it'll show it only altered a little bit. And people say, well, how does that happen? Look, once again, I don't want to say that I have a theory on this because I wasn't there, and we will know when we get more information from the data, you know, from the voyage data recorder and all that sort of stuff. But there's a couple things that are possibilities that one might think about. One is that if it's a right-handed wheel and you put the engine in reverse, the first thing that would happen is a big cloud of smoke would come out. It's actually soot, it's not smoke, but anyway, that would come out. And then as the boat started to back down, it might experience some prop wash to port, which would bring the bow to starboard. That coupled with about 15 knots of wind on 1,000-foot ship with all those containers on there, pushing it down to the right as well. All these things are factors that, and all I'm trying to say is we don't know. Maybe the rudder went hard over. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I'm just saying that it's very possible and very conceivable that everyone was just trying to do the right thing, and everything just happened. And you know, some people in the comments say it was a perfect storm of problems, and who knows? That's probably what's going to come out, but we'll find out, and who knows? I don't know. All I know is that people are reacting as humans do with their heart and emotion, and it really doesn't help. If you really want to do something about change and honor those that died in this tragic accident and those that will have to pay for it, whether it be longer commutes or whatever, or pay the actual price of it. If you want to honor those people, then stop getting emotional. Start looking at real facts. If you listen to pundits on TV, they don't get paid to tell you the truth. They get paid to get you riled up. The more they get you riled up, the more they make. And that's not conspiracy. That's the way it is. So I'm just trying to stick to things that I know, and I can tell you that in the future, they probably will mandate tugs, but I don't think it would have stopped this at all. And I think that what I was trying to say was that I think that they'll pass laws and they'll make legislation and they'll do all this sort of stuff, and the end result is that it probably won't change too much. And hopefully this will never happen again. But when you have big 100,000-ton ships moving, there are a lot of things that go wrong. And you know, one thing I also wanted to address is people are like, one life lost is too many. Why are you putting a price of on those that died and all this? I'm not doing any of that. Look, if you wanted to not get struck by lightning, you'd never go outside your house. And you can't live like that. That's what I'm kind of saying. Look, we need shipping. You depend on it. Whether you know it or not, you depend on shipping. And if we slow down shipping, and if they make it very difficult to get in and out of Baltimore, they just won't ship there. They'll ship somewhere else where it's easier. So if that's what you want, that's fine. But remember what I said too. That's not the only bridge. If you protect that bridge, you've got to protect all the other bridges too. Is it an acceptable risk? I don't know. That's why I drive a tugboat, not a politician. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And like I say, I'm trying to get to the comments. You guys take care, be safe, and as always, oh wait, this is what Dr. Sal says.
And with that, if you enjoyed the video, hey, take a moment, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you'll be alerted about new videos as they come out. Leave a comment, share it across social media, give it a big thumbs up. It helps the algorithm and it helps get this video out. And if you can, support the page. How do you do that? You hit the super thanks button down below or head on over to Patreon where you can become a monthly and yearly subscriber.
All right. As always, Take care, be safe, and I'll see you on the one.